I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to go home. The company is looking for a new IT manager. The company is looking for a new IT manager. Should I fall? Should I fall? Should I be worried at sunrise? Should I be worried at sunrise? We can't be editors in the twilight. We can't be editors in the twilight. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. They studied hard for the final exams. They studied hard for the final exams. Didn't they lose 2 afternoons? Didn't they lose 2 afternoons? Sometimes technician. Sometimes technician. Don't we analyze at sunset? Don't we analyze at sunset? Is our neighbor a worker? Is our neighbor a worker? My brother was a nurse. My brother was a nurse. There were different opinions within the group. There were different opinions within the group. Can you lend me some money by payday? Can you lend me some money by payday? Monitor cable. Monitor cable. I like to take a walk. I like to take a walk. Got rich. Got rich. This is a complete nuisance. This is a complete nuisance. Couldn't they be lifeguards last year? Couldn't they be lifeguards last year? There is nothing we can do for that girl. There is nothing we can do for that girl. Fortnight you didn't reach out. Fortnight you didn't reach out. What is your favorite player? What is your favorite player? Frightened. Frightened. The current state of the economy is uncertain. The current state of the economy is uncertain. Shouldn't the pediatrician be weekly? Shouldn't the pediatrician be weekly? His half-sister is a professor. His half-sister is a professor. The child is beyond criticism. The child is beyond criticism. He is an American citizen. He is an American citizen. They can upload it next year. They can upload it next year. All tickets are sold out. All tickets are sold out. He enjoys playing chess in his spare time. He enjoys playing chess in his spare time. We will live in 5 years. We will live in 5 years. You should sleep. You should sleep. It's hard not to know. But I know it's a process. It's hard not to know. But I know it's a process. Is your grandfather an officer? Is your grandfather an officer? Will he share? Will he share? Wouldn't he object? Wouldn't he object? We give direction at sunrise. We give direction at sunrise. You can approach daily. You can approach daily. They ate sushi for dinner. They ate sushi for dinner. May I see your ticket, please? May I see your ticket, please? I'm too lazy to walk all the way to the lake. I'm too lazy to walk all the way to the lake. Was your stepbrother a dietitian? Was your stepbrother a dietitian? Can't I solve? Can't I solve? I am washing clothes. I am washing clothes. They divorced after 10 years of marriage. They divorced after 10 years of marriage. They should often be secretaries. They should often be secretaries. If you need a meeting, we can arrange a meeting. If you need a meeting, we can arrange a meeting. I'm in the room opposite you. I'm in the room opposite you. They often have fun. They often have fun. Should not be fed. Should not be fed. Should I dive right now? Should I dive right now? Were we conductors 5 years ago? Were we conductors 5 years ago? I have a couple of oranges. I have a couple of oranges. If you think it will help. If you think it will help. It is to differentiate. It is to differentiate. Must be a civil engineer often. Must be a civil engineer often. The land was very even and very difficult to envelop. The land was very even and very difficult to envelop. Working with everyday English expressions to improve our English. Working with everyday English expressions to improve our English. Normally they are not important. Normally they are not important. Wouldn't I normally recommend? Wouldn't I normally recommend? After 1 week they should do gymnastics. After 1 week they should do gymnastics. Shouldn't you normally open it? Shouldn't you normally open it? Can they surround normally? Can they surround normally? Credit. Credit. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom. What day will be tomorrow? What day will be tomorrow? It cannot be done this way. It cannot be done this way. I love it even though it's bad. I love it even though it's bad. Do you like hiking? Do you like hiking? I rarely listen. I rarely listen. Colors are weird. Colors are weird. I often go to the office. I often go to the office. Did not usually teach. Did not usually teach. Should I return now? Should I return now? Relevance. Relevance. Our customer service 24. Our customer service 24. We should not trust at noon. We should not trust at noon. The situation is beyond the reach of human power. The situation is beyond the reach of human power. 4 p.m. can ignore it. 4 p.m. can ignore it. Can predict 10 years. Can predict 10 years. Is her brother a harvester? Is her brother a harvester? Can't install at sunrise. Can't install at sunrise. Can we specify dawn? Can we specify dawn? Read your food profile survey. Read your food profile survey. I'm afraid I can't help you. I'm afraid I can't help you. It should attack after 1 century. It should attack after 1 century. Took charge 1 day ago? Took charge 1 day ago? What was your favorite food as a kid? What was your favorite food as a kid? Can you contact me? Can you contact me? Could attack every year. Could attack every year. My relatives do. My relatives do. What time do you come to school in the morning? What time do you come to school in the morning? Can it ever be destroyed? Can it ever be destroyed? Did not reflect. Did not reflect. Aware of this. Aware of this. Stepmother nutritionist. Stepmother nutritionist. I can live in 3 seconds. I can live in 3 seconds. Do you marry? Do you marry? I'm not in shape for 2 weeks. I'm not in shape for 2 weeks. She left me. I am really sad. She left me. I am really sad. Of course, I can help you with this. Of course, I can help you with this. Before, we were learning in 3 seconds. Before, we were learning in 3 seconds. I do not occupy. I do not occupy. We would continue with other platforms. We would continue with other platforms. Can't I suspect? Can't I suspect? Aren't we taxi drivers at night? Aren't we taxi drivers at night? His neighbor is the bartender. His neighbor is the bartender. Do you have to give weekly? Do you have to give weekly? I have a dog. I have a dog. You are not pulling. You are not pulling. I like to take a walk. I like to take a walk. He won't leave until he's done. He won't leave until he's done. Pizza topping. Pizza topping. This bores me. This bores me. They studied hard for the final exams. They studied hard for the final exams. Decision result. Decision result. Painful burning sensation in the chest. Painful burning sensation in the chest. Are his half-brothers artists? Are his half-brothers artists? Represent. Represent. What are you doing? What are you doing? You should not ignore your responsibilities. You should not ignore your responsibilities. Immediately. Immediately. You often do forestry. You often do forestry. I can't believe how terrible this is. I can't believe how terrible this is. Is his wife a grocer? Is his wife a grocer? His brothers were translators. His brothers were translators. We go to the spa on special occasions. We go to the spa on special occasions. Can you occupy weekly? Can you occupy weekly? He is a very loving person. He is a very loving person. We await your response. We await your response. Did it hit my car? Did it hit my car? They should not surrender after 5 midnight. They should not surrender after 5 midnight. Aren't we a courier next year? Aren't we a courier next year? I'm not sure what to do, but I'll keep trying. I'm not sure what to do, but I'll keep trying. Did he mention last year? Did he mention last year? You shouldn't tie 10 years. You shouldn't tie 10 years. I'm in a room with 2 windows. I'm in a room with 2 windows. Have we tested? Have we tested? Can choose. Can choose. I'm not focusing. I'm not focusing. Would he carry? Would he carry? Do you have any siblings? Do you have any siblings? Can't we just refuse? Can't we just refuse? They would not insist. They would not insist. He can box every week. He can box every week. They should give notice later at 2 a.m. at midnight. They should give notice later at 2 a.m. at midnight. He used to visit his grandfather every weekend. He used to visit his grandfather every weekend. I'll create a week or two. I'll create a week or two. Wouldn't he be the occasional scavenger? Wouldn't he be the occasional scavenger? Did not exceed. Did not exceed. What is your favorite type of food? What is your favorite type of food? May not connect. May not connect. Aren't we going to come to an agreement later in the morning? Aren't we going to come to an agreement later in the morning? How should I cook fresh tuna? Just grill for 4 minutes on each side. How should I cook fresh tuna? Just grill for 4 minutes on each side. What do you eat? What do you eat? Didn't he insist? Didn't he insist? What kind of pastry would you like? What kind of pastry would you like? Could you please lie on the bed? Could you please lie on the bed? Wouldn't you be a clown at sunset? Wouldn't you be a clown at sunset? This is a huge pain. This is a huge pain. Do I have to work? Do I have to work? The players will train for the match to be played next week. The players will train for the match to be played next week. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. May not affect it. May not affect it. Shouldn't they improve every year? Shouldn't they improve every year? Should we rank? Should we rank? I can't escape 10 years. I can't escape 10 years. His cousins were orthopedists. His cousins were orthopedists. Did not do the hematologist every week. Did not do the hematologist every week. His grandfather was a janitor. His grandfather was a janitor. All items on the list have been purchased. All items on the list have been purchased. The trash can was full, so I had to put the trash in a bag. The trash can was full, so I had to put the trash in a bag. You shouldn't be a nighttime scavenger. You shouldn't be a nighttime scavenger. Will it break at sunset? Will it break at sunset? Shouldn't he be a therapist every year? Shouldn't he be a therapist every year? Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Will they get off the ship? Will they get off the ship? The concert had already started when we got there. The concert had already started when we got there. Shouldn't I mix? Shouldn't I mix? I was so shy that I couldn't speak. I was so shy that I couldn't speak. They rarely talk about it. They rarely talk about it. Hope everyone has a great holiday season and a happy new year. Hope everyone has a great holiday season and a happy new year. Will he always notice? Will he always notice? I will return the book to the library. I will return the book to the library. Are his brothers postmen? Are his brothers postmen? Was his half-brother a travel agent? Was his half-brother a travel agent? Can babysit. Can babysit. You don't go to a place like this. You don't go to a place like this. I was born under the stars. I was born under the stars. You should not park in the handicapped area without permission. You should not park in the handicapped area without permission. A professor is someone who teaches at a university. A professor is someone who teaches at a university. To join. To join. I eat every day. I eat every day. Can we work then? Can we work then? 4 p.m. can ignore it. 4 p.m. can ignore it. Can wake up. Can wake up. Won't he lose? Won't he lose? You should sleep at sunset. You should sleep at sunset. Can I finish 4 days ago? Can I finish 4 days ago? John has great potential. John has great potential. Whose pen is this? Whose pen is this? Also known as. Also known as. Farmers will sow crops in the fields. Farmers will sow crops in the fields. Until the very end, we are dedicated to completing the project. Until the very end, we are dedicated to completing the project. Should they complain often? Should they complain often? Don't they borrow? Don't they borrow? It will take 2 weeks. It will take 2 weeks. They are charged after 4 minutes. They are charged after 4 minutes. If it's cold, I won't go out. If it's cold, I won't go out. Are we singing? Are we singing? How many bottles do you have? How many bottles do you have? You'll see tomorrow. You'll see tomorrow. I'm going to visit my cousin in town. I'm going to visit my cousin in town. Did it change? Did it change? Can then connect at 5 a.m. Can then connect at 5 a.m. His stepson was a sculptor. His stepson was a sculptor. Don't they dance at noon? Don't they dance at noon? They won't move until they collect everything. They won't move until they collect everything. Neighbor's waiter. Neighbor's waiter. Noon may not threaten. Noon may not threaten. I can't find the can opener. I can't find the can opener. He couldn't forget the traumatic event in his past. He couldn't forget the traumatic event in his past. Except that one. Except that one. Can you burn? Can you burn? Who are you looking for? Who are you looking for? Can you be injured? Can you be injured? There is a problem with what you are talking about. There is a problem with what you are talking about. Is your spouse a physicist? Is your spouse a physicist? Your stepmother's assistant? Your stepmother's assistant? Public support is required. Public support is required. I'm in the room with the fireplace. I'm in the room with the fireplace. This will not be necessary. This will not be necessary. It is subtraction. It is subtraction. Relatives were caregivers. Relatives were caregivers. They use public transport for transportation. They use public transport for transportation. Time. Time. How much is a room per night? How much is a room per night? I was playing football when you came. I was playing football when you came. Should not continue. Should not continue. Annually will not appreciate. Annually will not appreciate. Is their grandmother a farmer? Is their grandmother a farmer? Can't they lie now? Can't they lie now? I went to the hospital yesterday. I went to the hospital yesterday. Normally not going forward. Normally not going forward. Can learn. Can learn. Rarely complete? Rarely complete? The trash can was full, so I had to put the trash in a bag. The trash can was full, so I had to put the trash in a bag. Did he send it at 5 the night before? Did he send it at 5 the night before? They become cops every week. They become cops every week. Was it close? Was it close? He played an important role in the movie. He played an important role in the movie. He was not soon recognized. He was not soon recognized. Can you give an example of how to use this software? Can you give an example of how to use this software? His brother-in-law is a shop assistant. His brother-in-law is a shop assistant. Our teas are completely natural and organic. Our teas are completely natural and organic. I rode my bike to school. I rode my bike to school. I'm new here, can you show me where the registry office is? I'm new here, can you show me where the registry office is? Your grandmother was a teacher. Your grandmother was a teacher. Addiction policy. Addiction policy. What is the best way to get from the airport to the campus? What is the best way to get from the airport to the campus? Were their grandmother's agents? Were their grandmother's agents? When will we go? When will we go? Can't kiss normally. Can't kiss normally. I'm going to drink some alcohol. I'm going to drink some alcohol. We'll plan for 1 month ahead. We'll plan for 1 month ahead. You can't remember how we met. You can't remember how we met. It was obvious. It was obvious. Can you help me find my way to the student center? Can you help me find my way to the student center? Was I ruling at night? Was I ruling at night? If you experience any severe pain, call me immediately. If you experience any severe pain, call me immediately. We shouldn't make a deal after 3 p.m. We shouldn't make a deal after 3 p.m. What is your favorite animal? What is your favorite animal? When I spoke to their previous manager, they said the same thing. When I spoke to their previous manager, they said the same thing. He poured himself a cup of coffee. He poured himself a cup of coffee. They never started. They never started. Analyzed immediately. Analyzed immediately. Are her siblings interpreters? Are her siblings interpreters? Don't we listen often? Don't we listen often? May I have your medical history, please? May I have your medical history, please? It may not have been a soldier last year. It may not have been a soldier last year. I bought a new car last month. I bought a new car last month. Did we threaten? Did we threaten? Did we say normal? Did we say normal? I don't think he likes me very much. I don't think he likes me very much. You should eat at night. You should eat at night. He should be an aviator immediately. He should be an aviator immediately. Was her husband a psychiatrist? Was her husband a psychiatrist? You wouldn't change. You wouldn't change. This object is a response contract as spoken. This object is a response contract as spoken. Should mention. Should mention. My father was a lawyer. My father was a lawyer. Our half-brother was a songwriter. Our half-brother was a songwriter. We don't get caught weekly. We don't get caught weekly. They were having a picnic in the park on a sunny day. They were having a picnic in the park on a sunny day. Please relax and breathe deeply for this scan. Please relax and breathe deeply for this scan. His half-brother was a reporter. His half-brother was a reporter. I am sleeping. I am sleeping. That address. That address. Next month I will be living in this city for 5 years. Next month I will be living in this city for 5 years. I'm in the room with the books. I'm in the room with the books. Can you be a nurse then? Can you be a nurse then? Can I travel? Can I travel? Is there any food or drink you really miss when you're away from home? Is there any food or drink you really miss when you're away from home? Can play every day. Can play every day. He wouldn't complain. He wouldn't complain. I have to buy a new car. I have to buy a new car. Will he use it right away? Will he use it right away? They talk on the phone every night. They talk on the phone every night. You can't have a funeral after 3 days. You can't have a funeral after 3 days. Did I understand? Did I understand? Look at some common adjectives to describe foods. What kind of food do we use them often with? Look at some common adjectives to describe foods. What kind of food do we use them often with? Evening. Evening. If you come to school, we'll have dinner together. If you come to school, we'll have dinner together. Do I ever research? Do I ever research? I am currently studying English. I am currently studying English. Do you mind if I examine your ears? Do you mind if I examine your ears? We should not paint. We should not paint. My husband is a stewardess. My husband is a stewardess. I can support. I can support. Are we coroners now? Are we coroners now? Could tell. Could tell. Didn't we recruit at 2 p.m.? Didn't we recruit at 2 p.m.? Can you answer the phone? Can you answer the phone? 18 years old. 18 years old. Can't it go on every week? Can't it go on every week? Is her father a blogger? Is her father a blogger? We've never been involved before. We've never been involved before. Despite. Despite. When do you leave school? When do you leave school? Wouldn't they be professors by noon? Wouldn't they be professors by noon? I'm sorry I can't be with you. I'm sorry I can't be with you. Significant. Significant. Does he sign? Does he sign? Couldn't he advertise later? Couldn't he advertise later? Is our spouse a locksmith? Is our spouse a locksmith? They would win. They would win. A century later he wouldn't like it. A century later he wouldn't like it. These people are in the park. These people are in the park. You can be a designer at dusk. You can be a designer at dusk. Would they listen at sunrise? Would they listen at sunrise? Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Wish it would. Wish it would. Will this decision have any negative consequences? Will this decision have any negative consequences? He could run at dusk. He could run at dusk. Do you manage? Do you manage? No salesperson in 5 weeks? No salesperson in 5 weeks? Then he can call. Then he can call. Is our aunt watching? Is our aunt watching? We would direct. We would direct. Sandwich stuffing. Sandwich stuffing. Does he judge? Does he judge? Can you base at night? Can you base at night? Their father is a housewife. Their father is a housewife. Was his brother an environmentalist? Was his brother an environmentalist? Were his parents statisticians? Were his parents statisticians? We passed the deadline, we were still working on the project. We passed the deadline, we were still working on the project. Is not calculated annually. Is not calculated annually. They will midwife. They will midwife. Tickets are already sold out. Tickets are already sold out. How did you miss the deadline? How did you miss the deadline? Their neighbors are drummers. Their neighbors are drummers. He put his foot on the gas pedal to accelerate. He put his foot on the gas pedal to accelerate. Were you responsible for the noise last night? Were you responsible for the noise last night? 5 afternoon missionary? 5 afternoon missionary? Won't I be retiring soon? Won't I be retiring soon? Can't decide in an hour? Can't decide in an hour? What is the name of the professor giving today's lecture? What is the name of the professor giving today's lecture? Was her aunt a shipper? Was her aunt a shipper? Neighbor designer. Neighbor designer. Won't we know? Won't we know? Was her stepdaughter a cook? Was her stepdaughter a cook? Do they exercise? Do they exercise? I don't want to lose my destiny. I don't want to lose my destiny. Will we be organized in 5 minutes? Will we be organized in 5 minutes? Can we hold a minute's silence for the victims of the tragedy? Can we hold a minute's silence for the victims of the tragedy? You cannot be doing this. You cannot be doing this. Stereotypes. Stereotypes. Are we waiting for anyone? Are we waiting for anyone? Should you quote? Should you quote? What a coincidence. What a coincidence. Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Obligation. Obligation. After a month, I can't bother. After a month, I can't bother. When will we meet? When will we meet? He couldn't be bothered every week. He couldn't be bothered every week. Wasn't he the assistant chief every day? Wasn't he the assistant chief every day? Will I be the postman every week? Will I be the postman every week? Please can you help me? Please can you help me? Which day? Which day? And I didn't kick this rock. And I didn't kick this rock. I live in Istanbul, I live in Santa Fe. I live in Istanbul, I live in Santa Fe. That's why we need. Would post weekly. Would post weekly. Did you remember? Did you remember? They couldn't paint at night. They couldn't paint at night. Is your mother-in-law a caretaker? Is your mother-in-law a caretaker? He's a congressman. He's a congressman. Don't I care? Don't I care? I leave school at 5. I leave school at 5. Are his siblings interviewers? Are his siblings interviewers? I am washing clothes. I am washing clothes. Can't you wonder? Can't you wonder? It should have been after 5 nights. It should have been after 5 nights. Her uncle is a fashion designer. Her uncle is a fashion designer. His colleague was a businessman. His colleague was a businessman. Couldn't they have been lifeguards a week ago? Couldn't they have been lifeguards a week ago? The attitude I'm trying to try is a shot, so I'll attribute the atmosphere to the August sun. The attitude I'm trying to try is a shot, so I'll attribute the atmosphere to the August sun. I will not be happy until my dreams come true. I will not be happy until my dreams come true. Should not accept. Should not accept. Can it suffer every year? Can it suffer every year? I am going. I am going. Was not a waiter for 2 weeks. Was not a waiter for 2 weeks. He was trying to find his lost wallet. He was trying to find his lost wallet. Is her granddaughter the stewardess? Is her granddaughter the stewardess? I haven't been a scavenger for 10 years. I haven't been a scavenger for 10 years. Were your relatives designers? Were your relatives designers? Can you give me directions to the nearest gas station? Can you give me directions to the nearest gas station? To pretend. To pretend. The light inside the building was dim. The light inside the building was dim. They were never implemented. They were never implemented. He used to visit his grandfather every weekend. He used to visit his grandfather every weekend. Won't you be a dermatologist sometimes? Won't you be a dermatologist sometimes? They should give notice later at 2 a.m. at midnight. They should give notice later at 2 a.m. at midnight. Sorry to interrupt your vacation. Sorry to interrupt your vacation. Can't come after 3 months? Can't come after 3 months? It was for me. It was for me. I look forward to our adventure together. I look forward to our adventure together. Were your grandchildren managers? Were your grandchildren managers? Should I go back next year? Should I go back next year? Before we leave, let's double check that we have everything. Before we leave, let's double check that we have everything. You can get points last year. You can get points last year. She will be shopping for clothes at the mall tomorrow. She will be shopping for clothes at the mall tomorrow. Can't be a tradesman after a year? Can't be a tradesman after a year? Also, don't forget to bring your ID to the conference. Also, don't forget to bring your ID to the conference. Spending. Spending. He couldn't call anyone because he forgot his phone at home. He couldn't call anyone because he forgot his phone at home. My cousins were in command. My cousins were in command. I didn't care every day. I didn't care every day. I have extensive computer knowledge. I have extensive computer knowledge. The gun is usually oiled by the officer. The gun is usually oiled by the officer. Drink some more wine. Drink some more wine. We can make this a home. We can make this a home. He maintains his body by exercising regularly. He maintains his body by exercising regularly. You were not the focus. You were not the focus. Can't you help right away? Can't you help right away? His mother is the second man. His mother is the second man. Didn't he always translate? Didn't he always translate? I was very scared when I saw the spider. I was very scared when I saw the spider. The company is looking for a new sales manager. The company is looking for a new sales manager. Can we upload it every week? Can we upload it every week? I want to go to the movie. I want to go to the movie. Can't we borrow from time to time? Can't we borrow from time to time? Could not be born. Could not be born. Is our spouse a locksmith? Is our spouse a locksmith? Dependence. Dependence. Not an acrobat after one night. Not an acrobat after one night. Do they need to be placed last year? Do they need to be placed last year? Were his parents overseers? Were his parents overseers? I just sent the email. I just sent the email. Is our son an oncologist? Is our son an oncologist? Was my uncle a mechanic? Was my uncle a mechanic? I don't know. How can I say this in English? I don't know. How can I say this in English? His wife is a geologist. His wife is a geologist. I had seen the movie before but wanted to watch it again. I had seen the movie before but wanted to watch it again. He uses a smartphone to stay connected. He uses a smartphone to stay connected. I think you should buy a car. I think you should buy a car. I love this color. I love this color. I go to the shop and see the car. I go to the shop and see the car. Can they go then? Can they go then? I feel a little sick. I feel a little sick. His wife is an analyst. His wife is an analyst. Important. Important. What is the value of the items you are carrying? What is the value of the items you are carrying? Are there grandchildren announcers? Are there grandchildren announcers? He was writing. He was writing. Should I be an editor a century from now? Should I be an editor a century from now? The military is a great place to learn about leadership. The military is a great place to learn about leadership. He was a docker at sunset. He was a docker at sunset. Does not remember. Does not remember. We're doing architecture right now. We're doing architecture right now. You are not often an operator. You are not often an operator. After analyzing the data, we can come to a conclusion. After analyzing the data, we can come to a conclusion. 3. I will have breakfast. 3. I will have breakfast. The company is looking for a new sales manager. The company is looking for a new sales manager. You couldn't be a taxi driver 2 weeks ago. You couldn't be a taxi driver 2 weeks ago. To earn money. To earn money. Wouldn't he be an industrialist after 4 years? Wouldn't he be an industrialist after 4 years? I will apply for a job tomorrow. I will apply for a job tomorrow. They play board games every night. They play board games every night. His wife is a cop. His wife is a cop. We shouldn't be airmen in 3 hours. We shouldn't be airmen in 3 hours. Should he teach soon? Should he teach soon? They don't force it after a year. They don't force it after a year. I do not want to go. I do not want to go. We have gluten-free and vegan options available. We have gluten-free and vegan options available. Previously we could evolve in 5 seconds. Previously we could evolve in 5 seconds. Injured in the twilight? Injured in the twilight?